me on the show today is Vidya Balan, and I'm sure you've been reading on how she's roaring like the Sherni on the small screen right now. And Vidya, I'm sure you've read it 100 times now, right? Roaring like a Sherni.
Yes, I've heard it 100 times now, but I love the sound of it.
I can completely imagine. And I want to start off with a YouTube comment that I read on the trailer of Sherni. A user had said, again, Vidya Balan is doing a female oriented film. And I don't think he meant it as a compliment because you put some angry emojis there. But I think there's a very big compliment in that.
Oh, absolutely. I only take it as a compliment.
Past decade, you've been shouldering films as a solo lead almost, from Dirty Picture to Kahani to Shakuntala Devi and now to Sherni. And even when you did a Mission Mangal, it was definitely a film with feminist ideals.
Um, I always stay away from ascribing any isms to my films, um, because I think, um yeah, you could call it feminist, but I really think that it is a human story.
Mhm.
It is about all these films that you mentioned,
Mhm.
are about some woman finding her voice, some woman finding purpose. It's different things at different points, but I think um, it's almost like all of us are coming into our own.
Hmm.
When I say all of us, all the characters I've played, but that's also because that's what you're seeing around us in society. That's the truth of women today. Like there is a line in the teaser that says, "Jungle kitna bhi ghana kyun na ho, sherni apna rasta dhoond hi leti hai." I think that's so true of all of us. And that jungle can be any jungle. I mean, um, it could be the corporate world, it could be journalism, media, it could be for an actor, it could be for a homemaker.
Mhm.
All of us are treading that path cautiously,
Mhm.
but courageously.
As you mentioned, there is a wave of feminism around, perhaps. That's what people are saying, female oriented films are on the rise. But as an actor in the industry who has been shouldering such films, has the journey become easier or are there new challenges?
No, I think it is easier in some ways for sure.
Hmm.
Just the fact that today people see this as a possibility.
Hmm.
They're writing exciting stories about um, women, with women playing the central protagonist. Women have agency in films today, and so I think that's definitely, and it's not just an aberration anymore. There are so many of these films being made. There are so many successful films, which is why more of these films are being made. So I think there is definitely a positive change. Uh, there's always scope to do so much more. So
I
I
love,
think
I love that you said all these women have agency, because I think that is something that binds all your characters together.
right. I
And
think so.
And I think one of the things that sets Sherni apart is she is a woman of very few words. So how did you rise up to that challenge?
It was tough because on two levels. One, because you have a certain idea of a strong woman. You feel that every woman should speak her truth, she should voice her feelings, she should be brazen. You see that as strength. But I think this film has expanded my understanding on the notion uh, of a fearless woman. Because Vidya Vincent is who she is. She is quiet, reticent, reserved, withdrawn, almost disconnected from the world, which is why probably the forest is the best place for her. So she's not someone who's aggressive, or she's not someone who expresses how she's feeling most of the time, but she does what she wants to be doing. She's a doer. And for me, that is a primary definition of a Sherni. A Sherni for me is a doer. So despite everything, you can't change your personality suddenly and become someone you're not. So it's not like in the film you'll suddenly see her at the end of it, mm, just वो झंडा गाड़ के करने वालों में से नहीं है. She does it in her own way. But the important thing is that she does what she wants to be doing. So that was challenging, but also what was challenging is that Amit Masurkar is the kind of director who wants to keep it really real. So one, Vidya Vincent is not very expressive. And secondly, he wanted me to keep it really real to the realist point of view. So I think that made it a little tougher, but it's always interesting and challenging, when something like this is thrown at you, something that you've not done before.
Well, Amit Masurkar, as a director that everyone's looking at after Newton, and you, of course, are an actor who has a big fan following, especially for your craft. So it must have been an exciting collaboration. But were there any teething problems when it came to your working styles?
I don't think there were teething problems, but I've realized that every director is different. Amit is not the kind of director who likes to discuss a scene too much. And I'm the kind of actor who normally sits with the director for a month before the shoot, and I'm dissecting every scene. And so they're different styles, but I don't think I see that as teething problems. It's just what it is. It takes some time to always get to know a director, his or her style, and then to adapt to that. As an actor, I think I enjoy doing that, like working with different directors, and even when sometimes it seems like so far away from what I'm used to, I like the fact that I'm doing things a different way.
I love your enthusiasm, I have to say. And how creatively fulfilling was Sherni for you?
My God, I don't know how to answer that question. It was, I never thought about creative fulfillment in that sense. But yes, I feel good about the film, and I'm hoping people love it. And I think that can only be answered in retrospect, about creative fulfillment. You need some distance from it, because now I'm like in the throes of promotions, and I don't think I have the mind space.
Tough question. I'll come back to it the next time we're doing an interview.
Yes, absolutely.
This world is so far removed for so many of us. It's such an important part of our world. The environment belongs to the animals, and we've taken it away from them. And yet, we are so ignorant about it. Did you have any knowledge about it before you went into this film? And would you say you had some big learnings while making it?
I think I was as ignorant as many other people are. But I think that's changed. This film has changed that. I realized that, nature is not the other. Nature is not outside of us. We are because of nature. Nature is because of us. I think that's what I realized in this film, which I'm very grateful for. I think now my understanding, of course, there's so much conversation about climate change and global warming and all that, and you read those things, but I was indifferent, I have to say. I was like, okay, I'll do my little bit, whatever I can do, switch off the lights when it's not required, but it was very superficial. But I think now I realize that whatever little I do can have an impact on the environment. And I think we owe it to ourselves, and I'm not just saying for the future generations. I think we should be able to do whatever we can today for ourselves, and then hopefully leave a better world for the future generations. But I think it has to start now.
I think this is the passion that drives your character as well, Vidya. So I think you've definitely imbibed something from it. You were shooting in March 2020, and then the pandemic hit, right? You were supposed to finish the film in about one schedule, and then the entire pandemic hits. How were the onset dynamics when you resumed?
It was crazy. I thought I walked into an ICU the first day. You know, everyone was in PPE kits and masks and face shields, and it did throw me off. You know, I was like, and we were in the jungle. So can you believe it? We were all, everyone except the actors was dressed like that, and it was tough. There were some hot days, for example. There were some locations where there was no AC. When you're in the jungle, at least you're in the open and it's fine. But there were some locations which were tough, and but you couldn't have any slip ups, because if one person slipped up, then the entire unit would suffer, because it was, of course, about completing the schedule on time, but more importantly about having everyone safe there. That was of utmost importance to us. Vikram Malhotra and Abandon Shah Films, I think they did everything in that capacity to make sure that people were safe.
I did speak to them, and I'm glad you're safe as well, Vidya. Very great.
Thank you.
It's lovely to see you back on the screen. But what other projects are there in the pipeline that we can look forward to?
I'm actually, I've said yes to 3 films, but I don't know which I'm starting next, so I'm just keeping quiet about it. The moment I have an idea, of which one I'm starting next, I will make an announcement.
So you've been up to a lot, your fans have been asking where you've been, and you've quietly signed on 3 films.
Yeah, I thought actually one film is a film that I'd said yes to last year, but then, it obviously got pushed to this year, and we thought it would happen. So I had thought that I'd finish that first and then do the other 2 films, but I think you realize that sometimes, yeah, I think the pandemic has just thrown everything off kilter for everyone.
Well, I hope things get back on track soon, and that we get to see a lot more of you. Thank you so much, Vidya, for joining me today. It was an absolute
lovely talking to you, Shilpa. Thank you.
Lovely talking to you. Thank you, Vidya. Bye.
Bye.